Okay, everybody, welcome to another day of math. We're going to be talking about solving equations with distribution in it. So that's when we have those parentheses, right, with a number in front. Number in front means it is multiplying with that entire block of numbers in the parentheses. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple ways of doing these, and then we'll go from there. So I've got kind of just a very basic step-by-step approach here. So the first thing you're going to do with these types of problems is you're going to distribute and or divide the number in front of the parentheses. So the reason I put divide there is because it can actually make it a little bit easier if you divide that number first. So if we have the number outside the parentheses, the only thing outside the parentheses on that side of the equation, we can divide. It has to be the only thing. If you have another term here, don't divide first. You got to get rid of that other term first. But if 5 or whatever number is the only thing outside the parentheses, you can divide. Since that 5 is technically multiplying with everything in that parenthesis, we can divide without affecting anything inside the parenthesis. Because even if we distributed that 5 and divided by 5 afterwards, we'd end up with just what we started with in the parenthesis. So if we divide this side, you have to divide to the other side in order for the equation to remain balanced, right? So negative 245 divided by 5 is negative 49. Okay? And then when you divide here, it cancels out, and you're just left with 7 minus 8a. Now the next step is we'd look to see if there's any like terms. If there are, we combine them. If there's not, then we move down here to solve. And the reason I just have solve here is because at this point it should be a party problem, right? Should have an acquaintance and a best friend or just one of them or something, but shouldn't be any more than 2 steps left after you've combined your like terms. So then we're gonna look at our equation here, and the negative 8 would be our acquaintance. That 7 would be our, 7 would be the acquaintance, negative 8 would be the best friend, because that's next to the host, right? So we'd want to get rid of this 7 first. It's a positive 7, so to move it to the other side, we'd have to subtract it to move it to the other side. That would give me negative 56 is equal to negative 8a. And then the last step would be get rid of our best friend. He's multiplying, so we'd have to divide by negative 8 to each side, which would give me a positive 7 would be what my host, my variable, would equal. And I'm done. That's my answer. Not too bad, right? Again, if I had distributed that 5, I'll kind of just show you just real quick what would happen. You would get 35 minus 40a is equal to negative 245. You'd minus the 35, and you get negative 280 is equal to negative 40a. Then you divide by negative 40, and hey, look, you still end up with 7 as your answer. So it doesn't really matter if you divide or distribute. Do whatever is more comfortable for you. But again, it can be a little bit easier dealing with smaller numbers if you just divide right away. Now, sometimes that isn't the best option, though. Okay, so again, if we have a second term outside the parenthesis, so this negative 6 is the one that's multiplying with everything in the parenthesis, right? But the 7n is not. So this is where it would be much easier to distribute. We could subtract the 7n and then divide by the negative 6, but then you'd have to divide that 7n by negative 6. You'd end up with a fraction, which would make things harder for you guys. So my suggestion is if there is more than one term outside the parenthesis, to just go ahead and distribute into the parenthesis, the number that's in front of it. So that 7n is still there, but negative 6 times positive 6 is negative 36n. And then negative 6 times 2 be negative 12 is equal to 104. Okay, then my next step would be to combine like terms. Oh, I lost my pen. And I wrote on myself, so that's good. See, I guess you can't really see, but yeah, I wrote on myself. All right. So we have these n's are our like terms. So we're gonna combine those. Negative 36n plus 7n be negative 29n. And then I still have minus 12 equals 104. Okay, now it's a party problem, right? Last step is just solve the party problem. So I'd want to get rid of the acquaintance first, which is negative 12. So I'd add 12. This is negative, you would add, which would give me negative 29n is equal to 116. Whoops, 16. And then we take that and divide. So 116 divided by negative 29 is going to be negative 4. So n is going to equal negative 4. And that would be my answer. Okay, not too tough, right? I divided by negative 29. In case you can't see that. Okay, and that's how I got n equals negative 4. And that's pretty much it. There's not really much more to it. So again, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to ask your teachers. We're here to help. And I'll see you out there.